New for you this morning, the historic immigration bill, the one the Senate passed yesterday, is now going to the House.
Yeah, and right now it looks like it won't get too far there. The bill tightens border security and gives people who are here illegally a chance to become citizens. That's the part of the House Republicans that they don't like. They say it's too lenient. So they plan to create their own immigration bill. Both of New Mexico senators said yes to the Senate version, where the final vote was 68 to 32, with 14 Republicans voting for it. Now developing this morning, the very latest on the case of Dylan Redwine, the Southern Colorado teen who's been missing. Well, unfortunately, we have learned yesterday that the teen's body was found.
It's such a heartbreaking story here, and today we could learn more about this. It ended the way all of us hoped that it wouldn't.
There were so many things that I would have loved to have seen from him. You know, so many memories that I didn't get to have that, you know, it's hard to digest.
That was Dylan's brother, Corey, a very composed young man there talking about Dylan. Yesterday, he and the rest of us learned that La Plata County Sheriff's deputies found Dylan remains this week in an extremely rugged area near Vallecito Lake. They have not said how Dylan died. Investigators have been searching for him since November when he went to see his dad on a court-ordered visit. This week, they started scouring this area around Middle Mountain, an area they had searched before.
We didn't search it as thoroughly as we wanted for two reasons. It's a very rugged terrain. It goes from 8,000 to 11,000 feet altitude. It has sheer cliffs, miles long drainages, heavy timber, a lot of undergrowth.
Sheriff's deputies do say this is a criminal investigation, but they have not named any suspects just yet. We do know, though, they have searched Dylan's dad's home in the past. Coming up in a half hour, hear more from Dylan's brother and what he has to say about his father. Well, the man accused of killing an 8-year-old girl in Albuquerque is set to be arraigned in court in just a couple hours at 8:30 this morning. Albuquerque police say David Candelaria here, senior, shot at a car near the Alamosa Community Center on May 31st, killing Suni Reza, who was just 8 years old. A few days later, Candelaria got into a SWAT standoff with police. He went to the hospital. Then a few weeks ago, he was released and booked into jail. Candelaria needs $1 million cash to get out.
All three people wanted in the recent shooting of an Albuquerque toddler are waiting up behind bars this morning. Ryan Begay and his girlfriend, Sabra Montoya, turned themselves in yesterday. Police say Begay got into a fight with the toddler's uncle in an apartment complex near Zuni and San Pablo on Wednesday. They say Sabra drove off in a vehicle. Begay allegedly fired shots at the uncle at the time. A bullet hit the little girl in the leg, but she will be okay. A third person in the car, Samantha Montoya, was arrested on Wednesday. A 15-month-old boy is hospitalized after Bernalillo County Sheriff detectives say he was abused so badly he almost died. According to a criminal complaint, the boy was severely malnourished and dehydrated, had a number of cuts, rib fractures, and bleeding on the brain. Deputies say the boy was with Matthew Martinez and his girlfriend, who is the cousin of the toddler, when the abuse happened. Now, they claim that the baby fell and hit his face on the ground. But instead of taking him to the hospital, they went camping. The cousin told detectives the boy stopped breathing twice on the trip.
The person who was caring for the child did state that during their camping trip up in Pecos somewhere that the child had appeared lifeless, as she described it several times, not breathing.
Well, nurses say the baby was so dehydrated he drank 9 bottles of Pedialyte in an hour and a half. After his grandmother brought him to the hospital, Martinez faced a judge Thursday on child abuse and neglect charges. He is being held on a $100,000 cash or surety bond. Well, on another note, it is summer out there. That is for sure. Yeah. It is quite hot out there, so why not head out to Tingley Beach?
But lately, an unwelcome visitor in the water has emerged, and that could be washing away your fun. News 13's David Romero live at Tingley Beach this morning. So, David, what in the world's going on over there?
Matt, we're talking about algae growing underneath these waters, and a lot of it. And of course, that's making fishing in this popular spot a little bit of a challenge for those guys to do. Now, some of the images that you're looking at your screen right now show a common sight that can be seen here most days at Tingley Beach, and that's people fishing for fun or food. But a fast-growing algae is cutting into that #1 attraction. Now, algae is good to have in the water to clean and maintain the conditions, but too much is not too good. Some of the algae is cleaned out on a daily basis, but a lot of it is fast-growing. Now, that's why the biopark is hosting a cleanup day. Volunteers will be outfitted with tools and plenty of water to keep cool. Biopark officials say this cleanup is coming at a critical time for the 4th of July.
It's a constant issue, the algae growth. I think we may be over the worst part of the bloom, but again, it's going to keep growing all year. And it would just help us to get a handle, continue to get balance in the ponds.
And the cleanup is going to take place from 3 to 5 here tomorrow afternoon right here at Tingley Beach, and we're hearing a lot of good response from the ducks. I think they're going to be happy once all that stuff's cleared out of there. So, Matt, back to you.
I think you're waking them up over there, David. By the way, that cleanup happening right in the middle of the heat. Please be careful. Drink a lot of water when you're out there. David, we'll see you in a half hour. Besides cleaning up the algae, volunteers will be picking up litter all around the park. Well, Santa Fe's main water source is going dry, and as early as tomorrow, the city will start tapping into the McClure and Nichols reserves to help maintain water pressure during those peak hours. But that's going to go pretty quickly, too, and the city may have to turn to underground aquifers. Santa Fe says its local reservoirs may run out of water sometime this August or September. The city of Albuquerque is switching to groundwater right now, as a matter of fact, this weekend for its water supply because reservoirs feeding the Rio Grande are drying up. These are dire times out there.
I know. I don't like to hear about this. We're experiencing a drought. It's just hot out there, flat out.
Not just any drought, the worst drought in the century to hit New Mexico. 5:06.